We are back with another one of Sorena's keys to an amazing mindset. This is the fifth key, and that's clarity. And clarity is the bow that ties the whole package together. These videos are a collaboration. Sourena, who has cerebral palsy, develops the written material, and I present it on camera.
Solving clarity and mindset is big for clear, but it's not.
But it's not.
Every day, different changes and new opportunities. And if you're not careful, life will get in the way. You don't want that to happen.
And you don't want that to happen.
Chris will see how and what everyday clarity is so important.
So now you know that the bottom line is this. Clarity is crucial, right? It's something that has to be there for us to achieve success, accomplish our goals, and maximize our potential. But it has to happen every single day. Life gets in the way, things change, and we've got to be willing to adapt and adjust and return to clarity as quickly as possible. Because if we can do that, that's when we'll be on the road to success. I'm Chris Stevenson, and I'm here on behalf of Sourena Vasseghi, the writer who can't write and the speaker who can't speak. And Sourena has a framework, and it's keys to an amazing mindset. There are 5 keys: rewriting your narrative, improving your processes and habits, dealing with challenges, building strategic relationships, and key 5, which is what we'll talk about today, and that's clarity. Sourena likes to think of clarity as the bow that ties the entire package together. Because without clarity, none of us are able to reach our maximum potential. So today I want to share with you some of Sourena's thoughts on what clarity actually looks like and how you actually develop it, from your mission to your vision, all the way down to how you handle the moments when everything goes sideways. This is not abstract. This is concrete. It's actionable. It's practical. So let's dig in. Reality and your reaction to reality. Sourena talks about this all the time, and I think it's very enlightening. Because if you want to build clarity, you've got to be willing to see your actual reality, even the parts that are uncomfortable. Far too many people put those to the side, try to compartmentalize them, try to hide from them. But in order to really get clear, you've got to see all of that reality. You know, many of us see life through filters, right? Our assumptions, our emotions, and we have these blind spots. We react to a version of reality that isn't always fully accurate, right? But clarity starts with a willingness to see things as they are and then deciding how to respond. Because you cannot change reality. You can only change your reaction to it. But first, you got to see that reality clearly. So Sourena's challenge to you is identify one spot in your life where you've been operating on an assumption. What would it look like to examine that assumption directly and more clearly? Define your mission. Clarity starts at the top with a personal, specific definition of what success looks like and feels like for you. And this ties directly into clarity, right? The more clear you are, the more solid of a mission you're able to develop. You know, Sourena's mission is to have as many meaningful experiences in all aspects of his life that he can. Not despite his disability, but working around it, right? The mission shapes every decision that Sourena makes. What's your mission? We all have to have that mission if we really want to maximize our potential. So if you can't describe what success looks like for you specifically, you'll spend your energy chasing someone else's version of it, right? You need to know what your mission is and what success means to you. We can't rely on what other people think we should be doing or think what would make us successful. It's really all about us and our clarity. So Sourena's challenge to you is to write one sentence that describes what a successful life looks and feels like to you. Not what sounds impressive, not what you feel obligated to do by others, but what actually matters to you. Build a real vision. You've got to have a vision, right? It's so important, especially with clarity. You know, vision gives your mission shape. That's how those two are interrelated. And without it, a good life is just a wish, right? It provides no direction. You know, when Sourena started writing, he had no idea the tools that would be available to him someday, right? Especially some of the incredible things that AI tools can do for you, right? But because Sourena kept showing up day after day, chipping away and learning and becoming better at it, man, was he ready for AI when it was available, right? Because he had built the foundation, he had his mission, he had his vision, and with all of that together, he was ready for it, and he was able to maximize things like AI and other tools now to become even more successful, right? But a vision is not a perfect roadmap, right? There's all kinds of detours. but it does give you a North Star so you at least know what direction you're headed in. But if you don't have a vision, you won't know what to do or when to do it. You'll default to just getting by. And if we're just getting by, we're obviously not going to maximize our potential and achieve our goals and reach amazing levels of success. So Sorena's challenge to you is pick one area of your life. It could be family, career, health, creative work, recreation, whatever that is, right? And write down 2 or 3 sentences describing what you're genuinely building in that particular area. Not what you think you should want or what other people say you should want, but what you actually want. If you enjoy this content, make sure that you download Sorena's ebook, 5 Keys to an Amazing Mindset, by clicking on the link in the description. And also, please like, comment, and share. Anchor everything to core values. Core values support that vision and support that mission, right? And values aren't decorations. They're not just a list if you create them meaningfully. They become a decision-making system for you. And you've got to know yours. As an individual and as he built his company, Sourena spent a lot of time doing exercises and crafting very specific values that mean the most to him, right? These are things that support the decisions he makes. If he wants to try something new with his organization, the Sourena V Group, he runs it through his core values and say, does this align? So done correctly and thoughtfully and intentionally, they become your ultimate tool for helping you make the right decisions in your life and in your organization and in all aspects. Sourena's core values specifically are diligence, personal responsibility, and creating joy. Those are always present and they guide every single thing that he does. Because when you make value-based decisions, that's one of the most underrated tools and most people don't do it, but it's available. If you want to live with intention and you base decisions on your values, you're going to be much more happy and you're also going to be much more successful. So Sourena's challenge to you is name 3 values that you genuinely live by. Again, not what other people talk about, not aspirational values, but ones that actually show up in your life and help you make decisions and dictate how you spend your time. Clarify your challenges. Honestly. The key word here, honestly. You cannot navigate what you haven't named, right? And clarity about challenges is the first step to managing them. Again, getting clear about your challenges is the only way to effectively manage those challenges and learn to deal with those challenges. You know, Sourena's disability affects every single aspect of his life. And he never says that to get sympathy. He says it because the minute he stopped resenting those challenges and got specific on how to deal with those challenges, everything changed for him. And again, it's not one of those things where he ignores them, right? He accepts that reality. It's also not something that he likes. He just stopped all his emotional energy from focusing and hating them and resenting them and thought, you know what, they are what they are. Here's my reaction to that. And that's what propelled him forward. So it was a very powerful tool for him, right? Because the goal is not to eliminate challenges. That's impossible. There are some challenges that will always be with us, like Sourena's disability. Then there are new challenges that spring up when we least expect it. So it's just a part of life. So the goal is to learn to deal with those, minimize their effects, and keep moving forward, right? So clarify your challenge and then clarify what needs to happen. That sequence alone will put you far ahead of most people. So Sourena's challenge to you is name your biggest challenge that you're having right now and be very, very specific about it. And then all he wants you to do is write one specific action you can do this week to minimize its effect. Relationships require clarity too. Be clear about who you need in your life in all aspects. Be clear about what you bring, what they bring, and who you need to become in all of the relationships that you have, right? Most people think it's enough to just be themselves. And by the way, authenticity does matter, but so does the energy you bring and the intentionality you bring. And people will gravitate towards those who add something positive. One thing that Sourena is a very big proponent of, and rightfully so, is all relationships need to be clear and they need to be win-win. People out there that are just looking for relationships where they can take something out of it never maximize the value of those relationships and are generally unable to sustain them, right? So we all have that. Think about your phone, right? When you get that alert of a phone call or a text message and you see the person that it is and it just makes you smile, right? And then think about the opposite. When you see that phone and that caller ID pops up or that text comes up and you just dread answering it, right? We want to be that first kind of person, right? That every time we reach out to somebody and they see our name or our picture pop up on their phone when we're connecting with them, we make them smile, right? Be that first kind and be it intentionally. Relationships are about two or more people coming together around a shared goal. And clarity about that goal and what that goal requires will change everything. So Sourena's challenge to you is think about one key relationships that you have in your life. It could be personal, it could be professional. And what does that person actually need from you right now? And what do you need from that person right now? And write that down. Understand the landscape that you're navigating. Every goal exists in a specific context, in a specific situation, right? And understanding that situation, understanding that context, and how it's changing is its own form of clarity. You know, when Sourena was a teenager, way back in the 90s, Radio Shacks were everything, and fax machines were a real business. Now, boba tea shops are everywhere you turn. Contexts shift, industries evolve, customers change. You know, as somebody who has a disability, Sourena learned early that he had to adapt to the world and not the other way around. And that's not a complaint, right? Sourena doesn't do a lot of complaining. That's just a strategic reality, right? The world's not going to change for you. And the world is rapidly changing, so you've got to understand that landscape and you've got to be willing to change and adapt with it. So landscape awareness is not a one-time assessment because it continually changes, right? It's an ongoing practice of staying clear in the context in which you operate. And when you understand that, that drives a next level of clarity. So Sourena wants you to do this. His challenge to you is look at your primary goal right now and then analyze the landscape around it, the industry, the culture, the timing. And is your approach that you're currently using aligned with how things actually are, or is it outdated and something that worked a long time ago but hasn't changed to adapt to work now? So Sourena's got 3 things that he wants you to carry with you. Clarity is not a system. It's not a moment. It runs from your mission at the top all the way down to how you handle today. Second, naming your challenges, your values, your vision, your mission is not soft work. And when done seriously, it becomes the foundation of everything else. So take the time to do that correctly. And 3, clarity is not something you find once. It's something you return to consistently over time, especially when life pulls you away from it. Sourena will tell you that the bottom line is this. You have more agency over the direction of your life than you're currently using. And imagine the potential if you used it all. So the question is, are you going to build the clarity so you can use that intentionally? Because if you do, that's when amazing things happen. So if you found this valuable, drop a comment below. Tell us what's one area of your life you want to get clearer about this week. Pick one area and you're going to work on clarity. Put it in the comments. That helps you commit to it. And share this with somebody else who's been drifting and could use a little more clarity in their lives. Thanks for watching. Can't wait to see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, and I'm sure that you did, make sure you like it, share it, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel.